If I was growing up today, I'd be an at-risk kid. I'd be an at-risk kid. No education in the home, divorce, violence, alcoholism, and addiction. I would be labeled at risk. But here I am, and got my education. And when I got the job, as a D+ hire, I'd say you're pretty much at risk. So I just accept the challenge. The whole notion of Death Valley versus Death Valley. What do you make of it? I think it's great. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, my background at Alabama, so I grew up LSU. Going Alabama. That was always such a huge game, and then I was there 13 years, so I was 13 LSU Alabama games, and one particular year, whenever the SEC expanded, we had to go back-to-back years to LSU, and it's one of the best college venues in the country for sure. Unbelievable fan base, incredible environment. The bus ride in there is always quite an experience. So that was kind of Death Valley to me coming in, and then I came to Clemson, and and I knew this was Death Valley too. I just had never been here, never been to a game or anything like that, and now 17 years later. It's pretty cool. So I think both fan bases take a lot of pride in it. Right now we won the game in 12. So we kind of have the right, I guess. I think we were the original Death Valley. At least that's what our people say and argue. So it is what it is. But I think both teams take pride in their home venues and the type of valley, because both stadiums are really on top of you. So a lot of similarities.
Let's start with a couple of things on their side. Let's start with Joe. What makes him so dynamic when you look at him on film, Dabo?
Well, he's the first thing I'd say, he's just incredibly smart. I mean, he is so smart. It just makes me sick to watch it on tape. It's like watching a video game. I mean, he is the game within the game, the gamesmanship, the savviness that can only come if you really know it and you're very confident. That type of stuff. I mean, he's like watching Tom Brady, just more athletic. Imagine Tom Brady being able to just take off and run. He's got that type of presence to him. I mean, he is a fantastic player. Great skill set, obviously. I mean, he can make every throw. He's got excellent size, and he's just so dynamic in the pocket. I mean, he can run, and I don't think he gets enough credit for his ability to escape, extend, create. Some of his biggest plays come off of him just creating. You got him? No, you don't have him. He's got eyes in the back of his head, but I would say just his knowledge and poise. And getting rid of the ball. Rarely ever do you see him get sacked. He gets rid of the ball.
Who he's got in his toolbox out on the edges and behind him.
Yeah, and that's he would probably say that to you. First and foremost, you're only as good as those that are around you. But I think the great ones make everybody else better. So he's got greatness around him. But I think he helps take them to another level. I mean, 1, 2, and 6 are special. I mean, they're special. That back 22, he's special. Their offensive line is special. I think the guy that doesn't get talked about enough is their tight end. Physical, it really creates a presence and protection because he does a lot of chipping on the way out. And I mean, he destroys people when he hits them. And then he's a great ball guy. He gets yards after the catch. He's kind of a security blanket, if you will. He's a matchup problem. So I mean, there's just no weaknesses. I mean, there just isn't any. I mean, they're a very complete offense from every sense of the word.
The other side of the ball, they're secondary.
Special. I mean, we just played a very special secondary in Ohio State. So, but they're outstanding. I mean, 24 is a young player, but he's not a young player anymore. He's played 14 games. And he's played against great players, and so he's not overwhelmed. Certainly, we have really special skill as well. So it's a great matchup. And then, they got the Thorpe Award winner in Delpit. I mean, he's a great player. Number one is special. I mean, they really have 3 and 5. I mean, those guys can all play at the highest level and cover anybody.
Ability to get some rush on Trevor, whether it's edge or linebacker.
Their ability?
Yeah,
you just start with number 18. I mean, he's special. I mean, he's not quite as big as Young, the number 2 for Ohio State, but he brings that same type of disruptiveness in his own way. He's long. He's very slinky. He kind of gets his body in all kind of weird. I mean, he can turn a corner. He can get low and get underneath the guy. He's powerful. He's got great length to him, and he's got a motor. I mean, he is a really hard playing guy, and then he's got great guys inside that create push. So he can come from the edge, and you want to try to scramble up to step up, but they're so strong inside and moving the pocket. It's a challenge. I mean, they can get pressure, and they don't bring a lot. They have not been a big blitz team. They really haven't had to. They can cover. And then I think the way games have gone, most of their games, the score's kind of gone like that, and so then it just becomes, style of play.
A couple of things on your side. When Trevor takes off, Dabo, what's going through you?
I don't really think much about it other than, let's go get the first down, run him. He can move. A lot of people don't realize how fast he is, but he is and it's probably because he's 6'6" and kind of, gangly looking, but man, he's got great vision as a runner, and he's got excellent change of direction, and he's got really good top end speed, as you saw in the Ohio State game, and people miss on that, but that's been the biggest improvement to his game. Last year, coming out, that was my number one challenge to him coming into this season was you've got to make more plays with your legs, and not necessarily called quarterback runs, but extending plays, which will lead to explosives. And then, 2nd and 10, and they're playing coverage. There's nothing wrong with, make it 3rd and 4. Take those 6 yards. It just, that they're giving us. Run the ball, and he's done that. I thought last year he held the ball a little too much because he was so confident in his arm, people playing 2-man and things like that, and he's trying to make every throw when he could have easily ran for 10 yards. But his presence in that area this year has been tremendous. He's been outstanding all year long, making plays with his legs, both called runs, but also just scramble. If you really break us down, some of our best plays or best drives have come where he's extended the drive off of a scramble, whether it be a 3rd down or whatever, where he's just recognized the pressure, whatever it may be. He's hit the rush lane, and then his ability to run away from people. So he's been an equalizer for us.
How would you describe Travis's attitude when he has the ball in his hands?
Relentless, violent. He is a relentless, violent runner. Explosive. I think he's special. I mean, he just has the ability to score every time he touches the ball, and his best football's still in front of him as he gets his upper body really fully developed to catch up with that powerful lower body that he has. But he's just confident. Great vision, but when he touches it, his intention is to go score. And he brings physicality with him.
How does being here before help?
Well, it helps, I think, just from an understanding of the moment, but I think preparation, planning, understanding what's too much, what's not enough. Certainly your itinerary and just the logistics of things, the movement of a lot of people, family, staff. I mean, there's just a lot of moving pieces when it comes to being in a deal like this. I think the media part can be a little overwhelming. It's a little overkill, if you ask me. So I think just kind of having an understanding of what all comes with it, what the responsibilities are that you have. So I think that's the biggest thing. But at the end of the day, the game is the game. So, there's sometimes people will say, even last year going to the game, well, Trevor's going to be overwhelmed by the moment. He's not, and I'm like, he's played 14 games. You know, these aren't young players anymore, and so there's really no excuses. I mean, everybody's, you know, just trying to be their best for these 4 quarters, and both teams are experienced at this point. And so I think just the more logistics and just kind of maybe having a true visual of what that moment is like. I think we all grow from experience.
The arm-in-arm walk. I know you have a different name for it, Dabo. What does it represent to you?
Just unity. I mean, just we're together. You know, Walk of Champions is what we call it, and I didn't come up with it. Been doing. I mean, they were doing that when I got here, and it was just one of those things when I got the job. It was one of the things I kept because I kind of liked it. And but it's just you know, a team thing. You know, we're together, and it's really just locking arms. And it's just kind of, you know, it's not anything that we do it everywhere, home, away. It's not anything to do with any opposing crowd or anything like that. It's just our own team thing, and it's just part of our routine. And it's just kind of the last thing we do after we come together for the first time as a team. We do a little quick stretch, and then it's like, all right, we lock arms. We're going to do this together, and it's just kind of a moment. You know, everybody has their own different little routines or rituals or whatever, and that's just part of what we do and have done it for 17 years that I've been here.
What would it mean to you to win?
What would it mean? It would be just an unbelievable moment. I mean, you're talking about, I mean, we're 30-0. I mean, we've won 30 games in a row and beat the very best of the best to do it. In 3 out of the last 4 national championships. I mean, it would be special. This senior group would walk out of here. I think the seniors of 12 at Alabama, the seniors of 49 at Notre Dame. I think that's the only other senior group that could say they won 3 out of 4 national championships, but there'd be only one senior group that could say they did it in the playoff era, where it wasn't voted on, you know, or just 2 teams that got a chance to play for it. So I mean, it would be incredibly special, you know, to go. I mean, to do anything 30 times in a row is just unheard of. And so for this group, especially this team, I think this team, we've played the most freshmen of any team in the country. It's a very young team, and I'm just super proud of the fact that they got back here. And I know they're going to compete their tails off, but to win it would simply, you know, end the decade in a great way and kick off this next one in a positive way. But no matter what happens in the game, it's going to do that either way. I'm super proud of our team and what they've accomplished, and the result, you know, Monday night's not going to change how I feel about that.
What's a piece of criticism that has stuck with you?
Piece of criticism? Probably just, you know, what I've said many times publicly is that I've hung on to, and that's, you know, I was a D+ hire, you know, and that probably hung on to that more than anything. You know, just people that don't know me, and things like that. There's all kinds of criticism that come, but that's just part of it. You know, you spend 13 years at Alabama, you learn how to handle criticism and doubt and people not believing in you, things like that. That's
why
the
that?
norm. Well, just, you know, to me, it's a challenge. You know, I mean, somebody putting a label on you. And like I said, if I was growing up today, I'd be an at-risk kid. You know, I'd be an at-risk kid. No education in the home, divorce, violence, alcoholism, and addiction. You know, I would be labeled at risk. But you know, here I am, and got my education. And when I got the job, you know, as a D+ hire, I'd say you're pretty much at risk. So I just accept the challenge, and you know, that's the biggest joy that I have is the fact that you know, I had a very clear vision of how I wanted to build the program, and if it didn't work, then hey, I can have peace and ride off. Yeah. We've done it our way, and we've done it the Clemson way, and we've done it the right way, and we've done it by loving and serving our players. It's been awesome.
Night before a championship game, as you close your eyes, what's going through your mind?
It won't be any different than the first game of the year. You know, I have a routine. You know, we put the work in, and we'll be very prepared. And at that point, it's too late to sit around and worry. I'm gonna have my normal routine that I go through. And I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna go to bed and hope that the good Lord wakes me up the next day and be excited about game day and getting a chance to go compete and do something that you love to do on such a big stage and with a bunch of great people that you love. So, you know, nothing more than that.
You've told this story before, and I'm always amazed at the people who don't know the story, and there's a lot of people who don't know it, so I ask you again. You had the chance to meet Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But not in the most planned or straightforward way.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, he's kind of always been one of my heroes, and well, I was a GA at Alabama. I was 24, and getting ready to get married in a few days, and or next week or whatever, and so just my brothers and just friends, they had me up for our little bachelor party, and in Birmingham there, and Michael Jordan was actually playing for the Barons. And I had gone and seen him play
baseball.
Play baseball a time or two. It was right there in Hoover. I'm from Pelham, and but we went out. We were just roaming around, and we went to this little place in Birmingham, and it was a little dance club. And I just remember pulling up. We were walking in, and there was this car parked right in the front door. You know, Chicago plate, Illinois plates, and like MJ 23 or something. Like, it's Michael Jordan. So we knew he was in there, and so walk in and. You know, I'm looking all over the place, and sure enough, he's in the back there with some of his friends just hanging out, and you could easily to see him. He was over everybody, and so I just walked back there and introduced myself to him, and I didn't pose for a picture, but I had one of my buddies take a picture with me just kind of right there with him. So it was pretty cool to be able to shake his hand in a moment. But that's the only time I've ever had a chance to meet him. So
only time.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I've been around him over the years because I've been to basketball games and saw him play a couple times over the years, like over at the Hawks.
But only time you ever met him was
only
then,
time
your
I ever met
bachelor
him.
party.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days we'll cross paths somewhere. He probably won't know who I am, but maybe one of these days we'll cross paths. I get a chance to shake his hand.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.